Today we're going to do a video of the Korky fill valve flapper kit. It's a universal kit, and this is what you buy when you need to you need to change the valve in your old toilet. So this is a universal kit that will fit the standard toilets. And I'm gonna do like a quick unboxing, but also I'm gonna show you what happens first, and then we're gonna go install it. I'm gonna make a video of how to install it. Okay? So you saw, I'll show you what it comes with. The instructions fell on the floor. It doesn't matter because we're not gonna need those. But I'll show you what we are gonna need. Okay? So this is the valve itself, right? And the most important thing, this piece of pipe here of tubing. This tubing is very important, and I'm gonna show you right now what we're gonna do with this. Okay? So it comes with this tubing, this stopper, right? The valve itself, right? So you see the valve itself, right? And the clip that goes to the flush tube. This clip goes on the end of this. Actually, this tubing is pretty thick and heavy, so I'm gonna show you how we're gonna proceed with this tubing, which is very important. What we're gonna do, and this washer that goes in the bottom, this beveled surface goes up. I know that a lot of times when you use this usually goes to the top or towards this surface, but in this case, it says it right here, this way up. Okay, this is this way up, and that goes here. Now, the first thing you do when you take that out is, because this tubing goes here, you see? But this tubing is hard. It goes in there. And if you try to press that in there, it might break the tubing. It's the same on both sides. It doesn't matter. Okay? You see? If you try to do that, it'll break this, because this is plastic, you know? So you don't want to do that. So what we're going to do, and you're going to be very careful, and so am I, is I heat it. You can see the steam here. A cup of water. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to we heat up this cup of water, and we're going to put one end into the water so that it becomes gummy, right? The surface tension of the material is going to become gummier. It's going to be softer, right? So let me press this button there you go. So you see now, in there, and I'm keeping the water in there. Let's try to. Okay, so now I'm putting the water in the heat. The water is very, very hot. It's steaming, right? So I'm doing that on just the tip. Okay. I think that's long enough. So now we're gonna come here, right? And it's going to be easier to put it in there. You see? Yeah, there you go. You see? It became easier. And what happens is that once this cools down, it's gonna regain its past integrity, and it will create a seal there. So now, this is the first step, and this is the first thing that you do once you get this thing. You take a hot water, you put like a cup of water, a teacup, for 2 minutes and heat it up like really nice, right? For 2 minutes. And then you do that. And now you see how the seal went? It's really nice. Okay. Now this is going to cool, and then it's going to be hermetically sealed. And now let me show you the other thing. Now, when you turn this, it unlocks. And because you have to determine, right, how tall you want this, because you want the fill line to be, the water level is going to be here where it says water level. Okay? So you want this line right here to be flush with the top of where the water goes. We're gonna see it when I install it. And in order to adjust the height of the floor versus the valve, this is how you do it. And then once you do it, you turn it and it locks in, right? So you turn it clockwise and it locks it. So I suggest that besides a wrench, right? Because really you can do this with your hands because you don't want to over tighten it. I recommend that you have a measuring tape so that you can do all this. So this is the part 1 of this video. Now we're going to go to the toilet and I'll explain to you how to install it. It's very easy, not going to take a long time. I think this is the longer explanation and the process that I wanted you to see so that you don't have problems in the assembly process. So we're going to redo this whole toilet. New lid, new cleaning, new valves. So I already shut off the water right here. As you can see, this valve is metal, so it's okay to open it, because if you had this plastic part, the part where the valve is in plastic, then you don't want to touch that too much because it gets brittle. It could break and turn into a whole different project. So if the valve is metal like this one, then no problem, just shut it off. And then you're going to unscrew the hose from this part right here. You're gonna want to have like a bucket here. I'm not gonna put it because this floor is cement, so we're just going to unscrew this little white nut that you see there, and that should be enough to take the whole valve inside out. So once you unscrew this, you see, all the way up, okay? That's a very important step. Now, once we're in here, because we unscrewed that, this should come right off, you see? And whatever water, that's why you might want to put a bucket up under it, because the water is gonna come up, you see? But now the whole valve came out, and this is an old valve that needs to be changed, and this goes in the trash. Now, be careful when you unclip here. You don't want to break, if this is brittle, you don't want to break this, because we're going to clip another hose, the hose that I just put together there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this with my tape, and I'm going to make sure that it's the same measurement from the bottom, from this part to the water level. You see the water level there? I think you can see it right there. So now I'm gonna measure, and it says it's 9-ish inches. I'm going to measure to there and make sure that it's close enough so that I can adjust and clockwise lock this into the length that I want. Now I'm going to present this into the hole, right there, and with the pipe going this, because this water goes in there, we're gonna have a clip that's gonna fasten it there, and there you go. This housing right here should be an inch above the lip of this pipe right here. Now you connect everything. You put the black washer here with the orientation that says this side up, and then you connect the water hose to that and you screw it all the way up. Remember, you cannot over tighten. You got to be careful with this here. You don't want to over tighten anything. Insert the clip on the other side of the hose. So now fill, turn on the water, right? Open the line right there so that the water starts pouring into the toilet. And what's supposed to happen is that this is going to, once the water gets to the level, it's going to raise this, right? And since we measured it so that it's flush with this, once this is, water's gonna start pouring in there, the flow of water should stop, right? Now, with this valve here, you can, if you do it this way, the flow of water is more. If you do it this way, the flow of water is less. So then you can determine how fast or how much water pressure you want going into there, because you want the toilet, inside the toilet, to fill at the same time or at the same rate that the tank in the back. So because when you flush the toilet, both the tank and the toilet bowl down here are going to empty. And what you want is for them to when they fill up, for both of them to be filled at the same time. So the water that's going in here is going to the toilet bowl, and the water that's going outside is going to the tank. And that's where the division is. You see now the water is going into the tank, and the level is high enough, it's a critical level, and it stopped. Because the buoyancy, this buoyancy, if you push it down, it'll go back, right? If you push it down, then it'll start pouring water in, and that's the way it works. This is finished, and I hope this helps.